Well, that was actually quite the classic Bledisloe Cup test match, let's be fair. 31-28 was a lot closer than people expected. The All Blacks just getting the job done. But the Wallabies put in one hell of a spirited performance and will be very, very happy with... Well, I'll put it this way. I don't think either team will be too happy with the end result. However... there's a lot to sort of take away for both teams in this game, and they get to do it all again next weekend. So look, I'm going to start right at the beginning. I'm going to take you through a few of the key moments of the game and then summarize it all at the end. So stick with me, but let's start at the beginning. So the All Blacks just came out firing in good weather. The conditions were great. The ball was just flying all over the place. A lot of offloads, and Will Jordan managed to score. He touched the ball, I think, 3 or 4 times in the lead up to that try, and probably, to be fair, he was involved throughout the game, but really that was the most involvement he had throughout the game. But great try, especially considering Will Jordan wasn't planning to start at fullback this week, but a late omission of Beauden Barrett because of illness. So anyway, great start to the All Blacks. They started really well, and they do start games well. Let's be honest. And then the Wallabies, they make sort of a backline move, sort of highlighting the conditions, and they make a half break, and the ball goes out to Korobedi, who then drops it. So the All Blacks get the ball back, and they get another crack. So they punch through the middle. A couple of offloads. Cortez Ratama takes the right option, takes the gap, feeds it out to Rieko Ioane to score. Really, really good play. And Rieko Ioane rocks and diamonds a little bit because there could have been another try to the All Blacks when they get another crack. They're hot on attack in the Wallabies half, but Rieko Ioane doesn't take the right option, passes the ball probably too early is probably how I'd put that, and Tom Wright makes the intercept. So the Wallabies were able to shut that one down. But yeah, look, the All Blacks, let's be fair, they were loving the extra time and space and the missed tackles as well, which the All Blacks hadn't really experienced in this year, let's put it this way, except for maybe the first half against Argentina at Eden Park. But anyway, so that led to the Caleb Clarke try, a few sort of breaks, a bit of extra space, and then Caleb Clarke scores a try. So the score 21-0 at that point, and you just thought, I think everyone would have thought, here we go again, the Wallabies are going to roll over and it's just going to go downhill. However, the Wallabies managed to score a try for Laine, a bit of a set-piece move there, quick ball, don't sort of set the maul and try and slow the game down, but Fraser McRae just finds some space. He would have been pretty surprised, actually, and he scores a try really against the run of play, because the All Blacks had just scored 3 tries, and then I think it was about 7 or 8 minutes later, Ardie Savea scores a try for the All Blacks as well. So that one-off try by the Wallabies was kind of against the play, and I thought, yeah, this game, there's going to be an opportunity for the Wallabies to score a couple of tries against the run of play, so they did that there. Yeah, look, but the All Blacks, they missed another chance as well. Offloads, they were relentless, but one too many, and the Wallabies got in the way to sort of slow down another try. The Cortez Ratama tackle on Korobedi, just wanted to point that out because I thought it was a pretty cool moment. But Korobedi is a solid man, and Ratama put a pretty good shot on him. I thought he might come off at that point, but he stuck around. But around the 32-minute mark of that first half, I thought, look, probably time for a halftime break here, because it was just getting a little bit loose. But anyway, the All Blacks had a scrum in their own half. Taniela Tupou, his side of the scrum, sort of looked like they pulled back. Ethan de Groot found himself fully outstretched and lying on the ground, causing a penalty, or giving away a penalty to the Wallabies, who put it into the corner. Of course, they were quite far behind on the scoreboard at that point, so put into the corner for the line-out maul. Wasn't much of a maul, didn't really sort of take too much time. Hooker takes it off the back, and the All Blacks were just sort of caught off guard there, and it was a try. So we reach half-time. The score was 14-28 to the All Blacks, 4 tries to 2. And but if you look at the stats, the rucks, 60 rucks to 23, 60 to the All Blacks. The lineouts lost. The Wallabies had lost 3 lineouts. Turnovers lost. The All Blacks lost 11 lineouts to turnovers lost 11 to the All Blacks, 9 to the Wallabies. Territory, 28% to the Wallabies, 72% to the All Blacks. Possession, 39%, 61. Yeah, look, I mean, the last 10, it turned around quite. Last 10 minutes of that first half turned around quite a bit. 65% to the Wallabies, 35% to the All Blacks. Ethan de Groot, he went off at halftime. Mighty Williams came on in the second half. Anton Leonard-Brown went off. Anton Leonard-Brown came on in the second half. At the start of the second half for Jordie Barrett, who went off injured. But yeah, look, the All Blacks, they just couldn't maintain that momentum, that pace of the game they had that was there in the first half. But they won't be happy with how they finished that first half. I'll touch on that in a minute. But the Wallabies, they would have been pretty happy to go at halftime, 2 tries behind or 2 tries to 4. But considering they had quite a lot to improve on. So let's move into the second half here. The All Blacks, they took 3 points pretty early. And that was, I guess they were trying to play a bit more of a structured game, try to settle the game down, take points while they're on offer. It is a test match after all. Perhaps in hindsight they should have gone for the line out. But either way, at that moment, I thought that was the right decision. A few plays later, Adi Savia put in a really good tackle, drove the player back. The ball went loose from the Wallabies, and the extra effort, Sam Cane pounced on it. But yeah, and a few phases later, and the All Blacks find themselves hot on attack and really looking to score there, but they mucked it up. Look, it was just a McKenzie pass inside. If you ask me, he should have just passed it normally. He tried to pass it at the back of the hand, but another missed opportunity. Adi Savia, no try, held up. Okay, of course it was held up justifiably. But just interesting in those sorts of moments with the new rule change. It used to be where if the attacking player went over the line and was held up, it would be a 5 metre scrum to that attacking player. However, in the new rule, the defensive side gets rewarded and they get to drop it out. But look, just interested to hear your thoughts on what that rule is. But yeah, certainly if it's the last few moments of a game and a team's hot on attack, and it's just a lot of forward play, ruck after ruck after ruck, and the attacking team goes over the line and it's held up. That's it. It's all over. So just an interesting dynamic there. But look, Nick White, not long after that, got a warning by the referee. Don't forget, this is the referee that warned TJ Perenara a few weeks ago for, well, he didn't warn him, did he? He actually penalised TJ Perenara, whereas Nick White got a warning. But yeah, game turned to rubbish for a while is probably how I would put it. Neither team's, putting any dominance in, no momentum. It just keeps shifting backwards and forwards. But then the Wallabies, they found some good field position, but it was their turn to make a mistake and turn the ball over. And the All Blacks, another try was disallowed. Just so close twice. Nick White then knocked it on at the scrum or a maul, whatever it was, but it was enjoyable to see. I think it was a scrum. The Wallabies were under a bit of pressure at the scrum. And then, the Wallabies, 5 metre line out, and the All Blacks turn it over. TJ Perenara is on at this point, puts a kick down about 50 metres, lands in the field, bounces out. Massive moment. But again, the All Blacks, they just weren't capitalising. The Wallabies were just still in the fight. And then we enter a bit of a period where both teams struggled. Anton Leonard-Brown, though, he got yellow carded. I think there were 3 moments leading up to that where there could have been penalties, but Anton Leonard-Brown was the one to pay the price. Australia score as well in that moment, so then there was still the yellow card after that. Let me know your thoughts on that. Not saying anything about it. I'm just saying, there was probably a justifiable yellow card. I'm just saying the try was scored. Advantage Australia. Last 20 minutes for the All Blacks. Isn't it just something they just can't get their head around at the moment? But look, straight after that try, the Wallabies make a massive break straight from the kickoff. The All Blacks scramble and they manage to get a great turnover from Luke Jacobson, and you think, okay, yeah, all right, the All Blacks, they're looking pretty good. And then they just the All Blacks find some momentum and some field position, and they just can't find a way to score. And then the Wallabies turn it over, and a couple of passes later, I think it was, Caleb Clark gets yellow carded for a deliberate knock-on. Yeah, there was no chance of scoring there, but just the panic starting to set in from the All Blacks. It doesn't matter who it is, all of them are just not playing to their full potential. The All Blacks, they were lucky because the Wallabies score, but Ghetto across the line, but was disallowed because of a knock-on. Yeah, justifiable. I think Andrew Callaway knocks it on a few passes before the try was scored. And then, the high tackle from the reserve prop Tossie. Pretty key moment. It was in the All Blacks half. But anyway, Wallace Satiti, he then gets a great turnover when it really mattered. The Wallabies were hot on attack at that moment, and Satiti managed to stop that. But amazing comeback for the Wallabies. And they put themselves within a chance to win the game. Can you believe that? They were just down and out, but they put themselves in a chance to win. The Wallabies, I think the key moment in that last play was the Ardie Savea turnover. So there was a kickoff. I think the Wallabies must have, there was the ball went into the Wallabies half. There was a missed tackle. The All Blacks a missed tackle at that moment. You just can't, you couldn't read about it. But Ardie Savea was the next man there, held the ball up. TJ, with a bit of help from TJ Perenara, got the turnover. And basically that was all she wrote, sort of a key moment just at the end there. But anyway, 14-3 the score second half. The Wallabies winning that second half, just missing out by 3 points. So let's look at a few stats here. Missed tackles 28-20, depending on which website you're looking at. But the coverage that I was looking at, they said the missed tackles were 28-20 to the Wallabies. So the All Blacks missed a lot of tackles in that second half. Another website said 33 missed tackles to the Wallabies, 25 to the All Blacks. Either way, it was very one-sided. Penalties were even, no advantage either way. Line breaks 16-9 to the All Blacks, or 9-5 in another website. 4 tries each in the end. The All Blacks just couldn't capitalise on the missed tackles and the line breaks. Offloads 11-4. Again, the All Blacks just couldn't capitalise on the offloads. Probably 10 of those offloads were in the first half. So the All Blacks just went into a shell, didn't they? But the All Blacks had 3 tries disallowed, or weren't tries, don't get me wrong, but they were very close. The Wallabies had 1, and the Wallabies completely turning around their final 10-20 minutes compared with the last outing against Argentina. But yeah, look, that last 20 minutes is still a massive problem for the All Blacks. So the Wallabies were able to turn around, but the All Blacks weren't. And the commentators referenced the Bledisloe Cup Test match in Sydney in the year 2000. It was an absolute classic. I mean, they talk about that being the greatest Test match rugby game of all time. And you look at that Wallabies team, and it's completely different. Of course, the All Blacks on that day got a heck of a good head start, and the Wallabies clawed all their way themselves right back into it. But the All Blacks had to score right at the end there to win. So how would you sort of compare the two? I mean, the Wallabies, this could be a bit of a turning point for them, for such a young side, to sort of get a bit of confidence out of it the way they did. Maybe that's how you approach that. I just thought that the Wallabies weren't going to come back into this game. At that time, that comment was made during the game. I think the All Blacks were paying $7 to not score a single point in that last 20 minutes, which they didn't, of course, so that was paying pretty bloody good. I sort of looked at it and scoffed and thought, nah, the All Blacks, they'll work on that. They won't sort of, replicate those errors again. The All Blacks, they keep the Bledisloe Cup, but the Wallabies will take a lot of confidence out of this game. They will also, the Wallabies, they will think that, look at this and think, wow, there was a missed opportunity there. So as I said at the beginning of this video, neither team will be too wrapped about how the result. Of course, the All Blacks, they'll be happy with the win, but they won't be happy with how it all panned out. Let's have a quick look at the Wallabies. It was a massive turnaround from their last game against Argentina, let's be honest. And I think that a lot of that was, of course, they're at home. They've had a lot to work on. They say a week is a long time in Test rugby. Well, 2 weeks is even longer, so they've had that little bit extra time. But all the new players that came in made a significant difference. Noah Lolesio, Nick White, that partnership. Nick White's such a competitor. He is in everything. He's well experienced. Lolesio, he controlled the game a lot better. Kicked well, and Fraser, well, in the most part, Fraser McRoat, I mean, he is the Wallabies' best player at the moment, probably, if you ask me, but he added a lot on defence, and in every area of the game, defence, attack, ball running or whatever. The bench players for the Wallabies made a really good difference. The reserve lock, played really well when he came on, added a lot of muscle, a lot of bulk, and certainly made an impact. And then the halftime reset for the Wallabies was really important. Joe Smith must have really spoke and got engagement from the guys and whatever. But the Wallabies, they put themselves in a position. They just missed a few opportunities, but it was that close that it could have gone either way at the end. You'd also look at the players that came into the squad into the side for the Wallabies this week. You'd probably argue that the depth is not quite there for the Wallabies, which is to be expected. But Joe Smith is making a difference. He's definitely. Look, the Wallabies will take a heck of a lot out of that game, let's be honest. And the word I've got here, confidence. Of course, they'll feel a little bit gutted that they missed a few opportunities there, but coming into Wellington this week or next week, Wellington, you talk about mental block for the All Blacks. Wellington is one of those, so the Wallabies will take. They'll really approach it in that way. So let's have a quick look at the All Blacks. The young players played really well. Cortez Ratama had a really, really strong game. Wallace Satiti also. I think those two guys are pretty much... you've got options in both positions. I think they're pretty key in terms of talking points for the All Blacks. But Ratama is... you've got Cameron Roygar coming back. He's playing again. And you've got Samasina Finau for that blindside position, or of course Ethan Blackadder. But Satiti is certainly putting his hand up, and it's really good from the All Blacks point of view to see some really young guys putting their hand up and playing really, really well. The All Blacks, I think, did make a few improvements this week compared to the last few games, but let's be fair, I don't think it's really worth touching on those. The reality is 21-0 and you just couldn't put the game away. Forget everything else. Forget all the details. That last 20 minutes in particular, there is a massive mental block. All the players just forget how to play the game, forget what they're doing, and it just they don't know really how to operate in that situation. And I think it's actually happening earlier now because they're thinking about, okay, well, the 60-minute mark is coming up. Oh, no, and they start sort of almost look like they're dreading it as you're watching. But anyway, they tried a few different things. The All Blacks tried a few different things. It's just not working. However, TJ Perenara, worth mentioning, he played really well when he came on. He offered physicality. He made good tackles, made good decisions, kicked well. But, yeah, look, whatever. The All Blacks did get the win. There'll be some positives there, of course, but you can tell that the New Zealand public and the fans, they will not be too happy about that. This one was a game that the All Blacks needed to win well, and they didn't win well. They won, but they needed to win well. And the All Blacks, I'm going to put it out there right now, that the All Blacks made the Wallabies look good. That is my take on that. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you've watched this video through to now, well done to you. There's still quite a lot of Test rugby to happen this weekend, so look out for it, watch it, enjoy it, and thanks again for watching. Cheers.